Good afternoon. Thank you all for being here today. I want to start by offering my condolences to the family and friends of Patrice Wilson. It's a tragedy that someone like Miss Wilson would be taken away from this world so young and so tragically in this horrific way. She was young and she had her whole life ahead of her. She was dedicated to serving and helping others as a nurse and putting others before herself. Miss Wilson has been described as cherished by her family and her friends, and as well as her coworkers. She's also a mother, obviously. She's a daughter, and for her to have her life taken away from her just before Mother's Day is absolutely heartbreaking. As I begin, I want to stress that this is an active investigation. The information is preliminary. We will share with you the facts as we know them as of right now, as of today. But there are some aspects of the investigation that I will not be able to get into. Again, I know the public has many questions, and I cannot get into all of the details. I cannot jeopardize this investigation. As I indicated, it is an active investigation. Here are the facts as we know them thus far. On Saturday, May 13th, at approximately 7:40 a.m. in the 4200 block of St. Antoine, Ms. Wilson was kidnapped by a suspect identified as Jameer Miller. The suspect was wearing a wig, described as a blonde or red wig, trying to disguise his identity. Once notified, the Detroit Police Department acted immediately. The initial call came into the Wayne State University Police Department. We were notified due to the nature of the call of a kidnapping. We deployed our assets with the goal of finding our suspect and Ms. Wilson before the situation ended in the most worst possible outcome. A number of units participated in looking for our victim, as well as looking for our suspect as we identified who he was. They included our organized crime unit, our major crimes unit, our homicide division, our commercial auto theft division, our fugitive apprehension team, and our special response team, as well as our homicide task force and missing persons. I highlight those because I want the community to know that we activated all of these units with the efforts of identifying where she was located and identifying our suspect. Our headquarters surveillance unit was also engaged in attempting to identify where our suspect was located. I also want to thank the Michigan State Police and the Wayne State Police Department, as well as the Inkster Police Department. This is a very complex case, and as you can hear, it touched a number of different communities, and consequently, we had those respective agencies involved in attempting to identify where she was. A number of search warrants were executed in Inkster, Detroit. We also had the support of the Novi Police Department. Unfortunately, yesterday at approximately 2:15, or strike that. Let me go back and pick up one last part. After several search warrants were executed, the suspect, feeling the pressure of this investigation, due to all of the search warrants, all of the activities by those agencies that I just identified, the suspect negotiated his surrender via his lawyer, and he was taken into custody at the DDC at 2:15 p.m. On yesterday, and that's the Detroit Detention Center. Again, this investigation is ongoing. We are currently finalizing our investigators' report to submit to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office for their review and hopefully their charges. I've said this before and I cannot stress it enough. Domestic violence continues to be a problem in our community. We have resources. We have domestic violence victim assistance units in our agency, and they can be reached at 313-883-1660. Again, that's 313-883-1660, and they are available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It crosses all demographics. Domestic violence is something that continues to plague not only our city, but this country. We have seen a number of tragic events around this state this weekend. Even in most recently, a few days ago, where the health director, I believe, in Oakland County lost her life in a murder-suicide. So again, if you need those resources are here for you. With that, I will take any questions. I can hear you okay. Yes, ma'am.
You had mentioned, the domestic violence is a persistent issue. Do you know the relationship between the suspect and the victim?
Yeah, they were in a previous dating relationship, and it is my understanding they had recently broken up.
Hi, Chief. I'm Whitney Vernon with Channel 7. There's been a lot of talk online on social media about the mother of Miller's child, Bianca Green, disappearing more than 10 years ago. With this case, is there any potential for Detroit police to look into the previous case?
Yeah, I was made aware of that as a part of this investigation, and everything's going to be looked at, including anything from that case as well. I don't know the status of that case. I know our detectives are in contact with the agency of origin on that particular missing persons. We're going to cooperate with them, pull their files, and we'll be working together to see if there's any correlation or if there's anything we can help them with that missing person.
The other thing I was just going to ask you, you touched on it a little bit there, is domestic violence. I know a lot of times we talk about the shortfalls in mental health supports nationwide, not just here in Detroit. Can you talk about the shortfalls that there are for domestic violence?
Yeah, I think it's such a complex issue for some, and there's a lot of different factors that impact reporting of domestic violence. Some are economic, some are just so many different embarrassment and things such as that lead people to be in these relationships. In this instance, she appears to have done everything the right way. She got out of the relationship, and unfortunately, the tragic outcome was his violence and his persistence to keep her in that relationship. So in this instance, this is someone who did what she could to separate herself from that situation. Unfortunately, though, these types of offenders don't take no for an answer, and more needs to be done to protect our victims. There's PPOs and things such as that, but we certainly like to see a lot more being done before someone else has to lose their life. Very tragic event, and like I said, with these resources that are available, there's some things that can be done, such as relocation and things like that. But I think that, if nothing else, this really shines a light on just how these last few weeks, just recently, the young lady who was shot and killed in Southfield, and then the suspect who engaged the Southfield police. That was a domestic situation. And then I've already spoken about the one that happened in Oakland County, and now here we are with ours in Detroit, and there's been a number of them. Already this year, we've had 12 homicides with a domestic violence nexus to them, and that's just unfortunate. We're pretty much at the same place we were last year with 12, but that's 12 victims this year alone that have lost their life at the hands of someone at some point who they thought cared for them and they cared for. So this is a real serious issue.
Jessica Dupnack, Fox 2. Kind of going off of that, was there any specific instances prior to this of stalking or harassment at all that?
Yeah, we're unpacking all of that now. I know just over this weekend, looking at his criminal history, he's a very violent person. He has a significant criminal history, and there is a history of domestic violence associated with that as well.
You guys knew pretty quickly who you were looking for. Was it video assets, or was there something that triggered that?
We got the best police department in the United States of America. I mean, I know I say it a lot, but these detectives, they don't work 8 to 4, 9 to 5. It's not an 8-hour shift for them. When a member of our community, a young lady, loses her life, or a young man, but this young lady, these officers and these investigators look at this as, that could be my child, that could be my sister. Beautiful young lady working, doing everything right, a couple days before Mother's Day, a nurse, young nurse. So they were just passionate about, getting this person off the street quickly. They were able to, do some really good detective work, identify who they were looking for pretty quickly, connect some dots, and, do a number of things from search warrants to social media workups to pretty much know who she was associated with and what she was going through, and that led us to our suspect and where we are today.
Hi, Chief. Andrea again with the Detroit Free Press. I just have one more additional question. There are already details out there relating to how her body was found. There is reports that she was found in the trunk of her SUV or a SUV outside of her apartment in Novi. Is there anything that you can say about those details?
Yeah. You know, that it's really frustrating. I appreciate, you know, some people that have information that's in the know sharing with the media. We're going to always be transparent and share, but when we get that granular with the details, we compromise the case, right? There's certain things that only the perpetrator knows, and when I hear this type of stuff, it's just so frustrating. I wish I knew who told you that so I could make sure that they're not in the know of information that could compromise the case and bring some closure to this family. But since you've asked the question, she was found inside the car, and that's as far as I'm going to go with that. But if that's already out there, that's really unfortunate, and I'd really like to know if you'd like to share where you got that. I'd appreciate it.
I didn't get that information. Other news outlets had obtained that information.
Well, I'm going to find out because that's I mean, again, that level of detail, I mean, I don't know how that helps us, you know, with the media even. I mean, the fact of the matter is she was viciously murdered. You know, someone's lost their child. Detroit has lost another daughter. And we did everything we could to get this perpetrator off the street, and she was found in her car, deceased. And we know, and we're very confident, who did the act. The granular details, I'd like to withhold those so that I can turn those over to the prosecutor. And as the detectives continue to do their work, he may say something that is very specific to this case that only he would know. So I can't confirm that for you. I apologize.
No, it's okay. Understood. Thank you.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, everyone.